Let's forget about campaign donations for a second. The real currency of power isn't a check. It's traded in whispers on private jets and at parties shielded from the public eye. For years, Jeffrey Epstein built an empire of influence, and right at the center of it were some of the most powerful politicians in America. This isn't about rumors or conspiracy theories. We're looking at flight logs, court documents, and documented relationships. We're going to name the names of the powerful people who ended up in Epstein's inner circle. Long before he was a convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein was a master of access. He built a network that crisscrossed the political aisle, making him a uniquely dangerous figure. Looking at his donations from 1989 to 2003, you'd see he heavily favored Democrats. But his personal relationships? That was a bipartisan affair. This was never about political beliefs. It was about getting as close to power as possible, no matter which party held it. And his connections went all the way to the top. Two names in particular show just how high his influence reached: former Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Their relationships with Epstein were different, but together they paint a stunning picture of the kind of access he commanded. Bill Clinton's ties to Epstein were under a microscope long before the final court documents were unsealed. Clinton himself admitted he flew on Epstein's private jet, the infamous Lolita Express, 4 times in 2002 and 2003 for trips connected to his foundation's work. He's always maintained his staff and Secret Service were with him on every trip. Flight logs show those trips went to places like Paris, Bangkok, and Singapore. In 2019, Clinton's office was clear, stating he knew nothing of Epstein's terrible crimes and hadn't spoken to him in over a decade. And to be clear, no released documents have accused Clinton of illegal acts. But in a sworn deposition, one of Epstein's victims, Johanna Schoberg, testified that Epstein once casually told her, "Clinton likes them young," referring to girls. For his part, Clinton has flatly denied ever going to Epstein's private island or his other homes, aside from a single brief visit to his New York apartment. On the other side of the political spectrum, Donald Trump's connection to Epstein goes back to the 90s, when they both ran in the same elite social circles in Palm Beach in New York. In a now infamous 2002 interview, Trump told New York Magazine that Epstein was a terrific guy, and even joked, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." You can find photos and videos of them socializing at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. But after a falling out around 2004, Trump began to distance himself, later saying he was not a fan. While Trump's name does show up in flight logs, there's no evidence he ever flew to Epstein's island. Their connection seems to have been primarily social, born out of the glitzy high society world they both moved through. The reality that two modern presidents from opposite parties both had documented ties to Jeffrey Epstein is just staggering. It shows a kind of access that operates above politics. If you think getting to the bottom of stories like this is important, take a second to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're committed to following the facts, no matter where they go. The connections didn't just stop at the White House. Epstein's notorious Black Book and flight logs were filled with other big names in politics. Figures like former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell and the late New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson have shown up in the documents, connected to flights or meetings. Even famed lawyer Alan Dershowitz, who ended up on Epstein's legal team, was a prominent part of his circle. Epstein also funneled money into the campaigns of major Democrats like John Kerry and Chuck Schumer. After his crimes came to light, many of them either gave the money back or donated it to charity. Still, the fact that he was able to use his wealth to embed himself so deeply into the political establishment created a web of connections that continues to cause problems for both parties. The story of Jeffrey Epstein's political friends isn't a simple story of one party's failure. It's a disturbing look at how power really works at the highest levels of our society, where party lines seem to just melt away. The outrage over this scandal is one of the very few things that actually unites people from left, right, and center. The flight logs, the personal friendships, the campaign cash, it all paints a picture of a man who moved effortlessly among America's elite. Being named in a document doesn't automatically prove someone did something wrong, but it absolutely demands accountability. Yet, with so many files still heavily redacted and officials stating that no client list was ever found or compiled, the full truth feels just out of reach. It's that secrecy that fuels public distrust and guarantees that the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein will continue to haunt American politics for a long, long time.